Welcome in and thank you for joining me. As you can see, I have some of my beautiful chaos behind me, including this fabulous print that was my mother's, and I have a good amount of beautiful chaos in front of me. I've selected Jason Adams' Dealer's Challenge to walk through how I set up my cases for my shows, what jewelry I choose, what other things I put with them, and why I make those decisions and what I look for when I'm shopping. So I'm going to go ahead and go camera down. I do have some other treasures here to show you as well, and I hope you enjoy this and welcome to my wonderful world. As I mentioned, I do have some other treasures laid out, and here are some really nice hand fanned sources. We normally carry a hand fan with any of our historical ensembles, so I always make sure that I have a good selection of those. I also currently have this amazing Victorian muff. This is fur, it's silk lined, and it's just ready to go right with anyone's wintertime ensemble. This would work for Regency, it would work for Victorian, and it would also work for Edwardian. And what we're talking about there is Regency is from around 1790 through 1837. Victoria becomes queen in 1837 and goes through 1901 when Edward becomes king. So those are our defining time frames on those. I also have a fabulous Quaker lace tablecloth here. I know for a fact when this one was made because it was gifted to the mother of my client in 1956. So it's an all cotton Quaker lace in its original packaging, never used, never opened. And this is a certainly amazing survivor. Linens are one of the things that I do specialize in. And now we can see some of the jewelry I'm going to be working with. Another piece of linen. And here's some of my cases. And some of the new treasures that I'm looking to incorporate into them. Oops. This particular case, I do have a good number of stick pins or cravat pins, and they just haven't been selling in this case. So I do want to especially redo that area of the case and put them into their own display. And I think they really need to have some actual cravats and jabots with them, and maybe some examples of using handkerchiefs for that as well. The other thing I have here is I have a new panel that I've put together to put jewelry on. And this is a foam panel that you can then use your push pins to put on there. I do have Jason's information on there, and I would deeply appreciate if you're watching this video if you'll go over to Jason's channel and like and subscribe to his as well. He has amazing things on there. And a whole huge library of just many topics. He's a silversmith, he's an antique dealer, he is an artist, and just has such amazing knowledge of things. And he has been helping me, and I'd love it if you could help him as well. Continuing with the tour of my existing displays is this that's really sort of an odd mix of different things. We've got a little bit more mid-century, we have some things that are Victorian revival, we've got a Edwardian cross, a World War II sweetheart bracelet, and I think this really needs to be redone. And there also are a couple of items in here that, while they are not Victorian or Regency or even Edwardian, would work for any of those eras. They are things that I like to call they act the part. So this Victorian revival brooch would be a great example of that, as would the earrings right above it. And they really need to be in a different display. So this is definitely one that I want to redo. And I have plenty of things to redo into it. So as I'm going through the different items, one of the things that I definitely want to do is identify whether they should go online, into a case, to a show, which show they need to go to, and these are all the things that I walk through as I'm looking at things. I have a couple piles here, one stack of children's items, another stack of some sterling that I'm making some decisions on, and then some things that I've started to do their displays. Another one of my little cases there, excuse the ring light. I'm using it to give me some extra light here. And I do have a display of sterling necklaces. I'm going to make sure I have that out for the 7th, which is before Valentine's Day. Let me come over to one of my newest ones I just did, and this is the display of charms. And I'm going to put a display of charm bracelets right in front of it. I have this jewelry box that I've wanted to redo for a while, so these will go into different things. And then I have this really great system that has these displays in it, and they're fit into the system like drawers, so it's very easy to carry. The one problem with them, however, they are not locking. So this case has a good number of sterling items in it, and I need to get these into locking case or to put them aside for my historical teas and events, not for just the regular flea market. The Aurora Colony Flea is this next Saturday. So I've shifted to the light box at this point, and I'm going to start going through the restage of several of the cases. Now, I understand that maybe that first look at everything might have been a bit overwhelming. But as far as my process is concerned, and that's sort of what Jason and I wanted to talk about is our process, I need to see what I call the max chaos. I lay out everything I'm working on, I put it all out as I unpack it, then take a look at it, and as I go through that process, my creative mind starts making connections, and it starts figuring out what things should go with what would be a better match, what things need to be at different shows, and that is one of the things I'm working on. One of the things I absolutely figured out while I was doing that initial walkthrough, and I mentioned the stick pens and the cravat pens, that they just weren't selling in the case I had them in. And as I came up to that panel that I had new for the jewelry, I remember I already have 2 panels that I'm using for lace and collars and sort of things along that line. So those cravat and stick pins, the ones that are not gold or silver, won't be going back into a case at all. They'll be going onto those panels with my new labels that I have made for them that talks about that ladies wore them and gentlemen wore them. And yes, you can still wear them today, either as part of your modern attire or as part of your historic ensemble. So these are the items that were in one of the smaller cases. And as I mentioned when we were looking at it, it is really quite a bit of a mishmash. There is the gold-filled chain and cross. There's these earrings that they're not Victorian, but they certainly would act the part. Even though they are pierced, they had pierced earrings in the 1800s, pierced ears rather. We have this 1930s piece. We have this more modern. Got the Maltese cross there, which is probably an unsigned Weiss. This wonderful piece up here, which is absolutely acts the part as a, yes, I'm having a hard time picking it up. There we go. Acts the part of a Victorian brooch with little seed pearls, but it's not. It's a 1950s revival piece. This is something you could safely wear with your historic ensemble and not be worried about dropping it, losing it, or someone maybe deciding they wanted your gold instead of you. So as I look at the different pieces, we've got some rhinestone earrings. We've got this really interesting brooch up here, which is Japanese. Your 1940s, 50s copper Renoir necklace, and this really interesting slide bracelet, which is fabulous, but not for historic costuming. So this case definitely needs to be reworked. And how it ends up this way is you sell things out of it, you replace it with the things you have with you that are priced, and the case starts to lose its integrity as far as what you want to present. I am coming up on both my Aurora Colony Flea, which the next one is coming up this weekend, and on one of my first historic, or perfect for your historic ensemble. I do have my first historical event coming up this coming weekend. It's a Jane Austen salon, so it's Regency. It's a postponed event that was supposed to happen in December, but we had some family health issues that prevented us from doing it then, so it's been postponed to February.
the first thing I want to do before I restage this is decide what kind of flavor I want for this case. And I do believe that 40s, 50s, mid 20th century is what I need to go with. It's the majority of the pieces here. The gold-filled cross and chain really does need to go into a locked case. And the things that act the part can also go into that same block case for one of the historical events. For the flea, having the mid-century and newer jewelry seems to sell the best. I do have this Sweetheart bracelet here. This is a World War II. That would still work in the case, so I'm going to redo the setup. I'll be right back with what the new setup looks like, and I'm actually going to add a couple things to it as well. So here's the restaged, what the case is going to look like. I've kept the 3 pieces of rhinestone jewelry that fit perfectly in that 40s, 50s, 60s time frame. The enamel brooch at the top is another really good example. The slide bracelet, the 1940s Sweetheart. There we go, we can see that. I've added in a set of Trifari clip earrings, a novelty fun fish, the brooch here that's actually a copy of a Renoir. The bow brooch, which is really, really common for this time frame. The bow brooch started off and you could attach just about anything you wanted to, so it normally would have something that meant something to the individual person that bought it. The fabulous Renoir copper necklace still, and I've added the earrings also made by Renoir. And then we have this great brooch from the coronation of Elizabeth II. So now it's a more coherent case that gives us mid-20th century with some of the fun, kitschy things, some of the elegant things, and just some very nice choices for someone who's looking for those type of accessories. And the case itself is now more coherent. There's a couple other pieces that will probably go in as well. This is one great little umbrella with some rhinestone embellishments. Once again, a nice sort of novelty piece. These were really popular during the 50s and into the 60s. And then this really nice black rhinestone, probably an unsigned Weiss. They did these pieces for other companies and other jewelers. So this is a really nice statement piece, would look great on any lighter color coat or lapel. And I think this would be a good addition to this case as well. And here is the completed redone case. I have added a couple other things in that I thought were appropriate for it, including the Moonglow vintage earrings on the right hand side, and the lady in the middle there, she's period correct for this. And so now this case is basically ready to go once I get the rest of the prices in it to the next show. When we were going through the larger picture, I have a unit that has drawers that fit into it that are display cases. Unfortunately, those display cases are not locking. And I do have sterling in one of those drawers, and I've decided I'm going to restage that. And as I was walking through that larger picture, it occurred to me that I wanted to do a children's case because we have some events coming up. We do have little ones that come to our sales, but I especially have little ones that come to our historical teas and events. Let's straighten that up a little bit. And my next tea is going to be a Beatrix Potter Edwardian Fair and Peter Rabbit tea. So we know we'll have little ones at that. So I want to get a head start on one, possibly 2 children's cases. So I started laying out a few things I have that will work. I probably ought to take this out of the bag so I can actually see what it is. I have a lot of fun finding some vintage little hair jewelry and hair accessories because I know that that's popular. I've got this nice little necklace back here. This one by Avon, which is the Secret Garden. These pins are Girl Guides, as is the ring that's here. And I'll get those up a little closer so you can see them. The Girl Guides were the first young ladies that were part of the Boy Scout movement. And if you'd like to have me do a video explaining the background on that, just put that in the comments below. I'd be happy to do that. But that's what these are. They're from right around 1910, 1912. And so these would have been the Girl Scout version the very first ones before they were Girl Scouts. They were called Girl Guides. And these are the little brownies that were on their different pins and the ring. Got some just fun little, $2 and $3 vintage necklaces. They're great for children. And then I also had this really sweet bracelet. However, once I researched this, let's see if I can there we go. So you can see it has a little bit of a design on it. There's the release. It comes up. It is signed. It might be, let's just knock everything all over the place. There we go. So it is signed right there. When I did the research, this is a children's piece that comps on eBay between $20 and $40. So this is an example of something that I'm going to go ahead and pull. Get that straightened up again. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out of the case and put this up online. I do have an eBay site. I've been on eBay for quite some time. So I have my eBay, and then I also have my online ticketing for my events. So there's that. The online ticketing is through Ticket Tailor. And you can go up and go tickettailor.com/events/Windhorse Antiques, and all my events are there. I have tickets available all the way through December now. On eBay, I am Windhorse Ventures. And the reason I'm not Windhorse Antiques is because a lovely shop in London that does Tibetan antiques beat me to it. They've been in business longer than I have, and they got the name of Windhorse Antiques. They are using the same reference we did for the name. A windhorse is a vertical Tibetan prayer flag, and they sell Tibetan antiques. I do lots of other things, but that's the links for both of those. And while I'm putting signs up, let me go ahead and get Jason's out here again. We are doing a challenge between us. I would imagine his is a little more professional than mine is at this point, but then he's been doing this for 2 years longer than I have. So it's Jason Adams 8633, and I really encourage you to go to his channel, subscribe. He has such amazing videos and shorts and information. He is a silversmith and a collector and a reseller and a dealer and an expert on so many different categories of things, and you will just absolutely love what you find there. And join his live sales on Bully Run Coffee. I should have that written down here as well, sorry. On Tuesday evenings, normally, we have a lot of fun in the chat. We find some fabulous finds, and we learn a lot. So once again, thank you to Jason for challenging me to this. And you want to go over to his channel and watch his part of the challenge as well. Well, just knock that light case. I'm going to knock this whole thing over one of these days. So this is a start of one, and I think as I'm standing here talking about this, that I am going to do 2 of these drawers. I have 8 drawers in this case, and I'm pretty sure I have a couple that aren't staged at all right now. So that makes too much sense. I have some time between now and March to go ahead and get other things put together and have the labels and everything done. So this is the start of a children's drawer case, and I do believe there's going to be 2 of them. And if you want to see the update on that, go ahead and put that in the comments, but that's what I'm working on in that right now. I'm going to go to the next case and talk a little bit about sterling, I think, and how I make some decisions on what things to put out and what things to maybe sell online. So here's the next group in this tray that I'm taking a look at, and this has a pretty wide range again, and these were some newer pieces I've just acquired or I have just taken out of some collections that I'm working on, and they need to be looked at and identified on where they're going to go. I can already tell by the first look that most of these are probably going to go into my locked case because they are either antique or they're silver or they're a more valuable costume. So I want to take a look at each of these and decide what I'm going to be doing with them. The very first thing I'm going to pick up is this, and this is an Eisenberg. Oh, sorry for that jump, but there we go. This is an Eisenberg. Beautiful piece of mid-century rhinestones, beautiful construction on the back, very clearly signed. The only problem with this piece, and you can probably pick it out, is you've got at least, there's 3, 1, 2, and where's the third one? There is 3 missing. There are 3 of the small rhinestones missing. Now, this is something that if someone is a jeweler or a good repair person with this type, there's the other one on the left-hand side there. If someone is really good at doing this type of repair, those are very easy repairs. To put those 3 small rhinestones back in place, you're going to have some period ones from another piece that you would have harvested them from, and go ahead and get this repaired. However, that is not something I normally do. So this piece I'm going to pull and not put in the cases because I'm not going to be able to sell it for a decent amount with those 3 missing stones. However, if I put it on eBay, there are sellers out there that will come up and bid on it and buy it because they know they can repair it and they have the stones to do. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one aside for eBay as well. So that opens up the center a little bit. So let me move a couple things up. Immediately, this brooch, it's a Giovanni, it's just a silver tone, mid-century, it's signed, it's a nice piece, but this would be a good candidate to go in that case I was just working on. I do have space in there for it, so I'm just going to go ahead and put that in there right now. Also, something I want to pull out right away is this butterfly. The butterfly's cute and it's very colorful and it would be fun to wear. However, it's very modern. This came in a grouping of some other things that I was getting on purpose. I would not have normally bought this standalone just because it is so modern. This is a good one to put out at my flea market. It is a more upscale flea market. It's the first Saturday of the month, September through May, and May and December are 2 days. But this is definitely something someone could buy, enjoy, and it could be very economical for them to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that out and put it into its own little bag with a price on it, and that should go right out the door during the flea. I have these 2 watch chains here, and these are going to be good candidates to go into. They're very clearly marked. They need to probably be buffed just a little bit. They are silver plate, but these are very clearly marked on the back who made them and what the patent was and everything. And this was to hook and then put your pocket watch on. So this is definitely something that my costume folks are looking for, both ladies and men. Now, these are both gentlemen's, but I could see a lady wearing one of these as well easily. So these will go into a case, a locked case, from one of my upcoming historical teas and events. So I'll put that over for that. Got a great sterling rooster here, so typical of the war years during World War II. You go, why would they make this rooster in sterling? Well, they made it in sterling because the base metals that these type of pieces would normally have been made in, those were being used for the war effort. So sterling was the choice. You'll find a lot of Coro and Trifari that are marked sterling during that time frame. In fact, you'll even find some that are made in Mexico and marked sterling, and it's because that's where they had exported the production to, where they rekeyed the production lines in America for the war effort. So he's really fun. He is probably lacquered. He's obviously gold-plated. Got a little bit of missing up here, but he's still fun. I think he needs to be in a locked case mainly because he is sterling and the price of silver right now. So that will go in one of the locked cases. Maybe I'll do a grouping of novelty pieces. There's really some interesting ones that are available for the vintage items, and they sometimes command very, very high prices. So he'll go into a locked case. I wouldn't put him on eBay because he does have these missing stones, and I don't know who made him. I can't attribute him, and that normally helps an eBay sale quite a bit when you can say who made the piece. So we'll put him aside to go in that case. I think this fun little enamel pen, don't know who made it, but it's a sweet piece. That's a nice piece to go for the flea market as well. A little bit more valuable than the butterfly we just saw, but probably late 20th century would be my guess on that. But a nice piece. I've got some nice things in this box that I just picked up. I got these at the Assistance League in Salem that does things for children. I'll do a short on that shop here very soon. This is a milk glass cameo. She's got a little tiny bit of damage on this side, But once again, this is a piece that we can wear with our historic ensemble. We can wear it at the lace at our neck. We could put it on other accessories, and we wouldn't have to worry about a true antique, valuable shell cameo getting lost or damaged. So this is a great piece that acts the part, so that will be going into that case. This is a true antique. This is a love knot with a piece of branch coral in it. It's gold plated, fun little Victorian piece, and this is definitely something that will go in that case. This piece I just picked up. I'm not going to say who I think it could be. I haven't finished my research yet on it, but it's quite a nice rhinestone piece, so that's going to go into the locked rhinestone case, and I'll get that priced. This bracelet was a nice surprise. So you take a look at it. Do I have it right side up? Yes, I do. All right, so it is right side up, and you've got your abalone and these panels, and when you turn it over, it's very clearly signed that it's silver, it's made in Mexico. There's signed here as well. What's interesting about this piece, however, is when I put a magnet to it, because you want to make sure you're not selling something that's not what it says it is, the hinges are magnetic. The panels are not, and they are correctly marked, but each of the hinges do have, you can see, they have a steel pin that goes down through them, or some type of metal pin that goes down through it, and it is definitely magnetic. So this would be something that could mislead you if you're using a magnet to figure out if something truly is sterling or not. This is appropriately marked, really nice piece. I'm going to put this on the scale, see how much it weighs. I have several sterling jewelry buyers that will probably be interested in this, so this will probably go as a direct sale to one of them. Got another great watch chain here, and this one is complete and functioning. I've been going back and forth on whether I wanted to keep this one for myself. It is in really good shape. You know, you've got your antique chain here. You have to just, if it crinkles on you, you just give it a little nice, a little gentle, and then it's good again. And I learned that from Jason. So this will go in for one of the events. This little group is fabulous. I was really excited to pick these up. I'm going to put him over there for the moment. Actually, her, probably with all those flowers on it, if we're doing that. These are all, for the most part, Edwardian. You've got enamel, and these are bar pins. These would be the pieces that would hold that lace in place that I was talking about earlier, where you use your stick pin or a bar pin. Fabulous little paste stones, great enamel, all intact. You've got your Peking green check art glass in this one. It's set in sterling. A couple of these are sterling. This one definitely is with the amethyst, if I can get a hold of it. Of course, my fingers are not going to work to do that properly. Let's try that. Arthritic fingers and small things are sometimes a little bit of a challenge, but isn't that pretty? It's a really pale amethyst, but isn't that just delightful? Very Art Nouveau with the naturalistic design of the leaves and their swirling vines. Fabulous piece, properly marked sterling, and it just says Germany, which means it's probably Victorian. It's made before the turn of last century. Tiny little one with great enamel on it. Those will all go in a case for the historic teas and events, as will this really great little brooch with the enameled roses. You do see it has a crack here, probably set, maybe set in low carat gold on the front, maybe not, maybe just gold plated, but a really pretty piece, and that's definitely something that someone could wear. That will go to the shows. This piece is going online. This is a Petrodura. It is a type of hard stone mosaic. It's much harder to do than micro mosaic. These are mid-century. This is set in low carat gold. I have had that verified and tested by my jeweler I work with. I think the clasp has been redone. It looks like it, but a beautiful piece, circa 1860. And these go for anywhere between, this one is not in perfect shape, but in nice period appropriate shape. They go somewhere between $250 and $450, depending on the motif and the condition. I would say this one will probably go for about $300. I'm going to put it up on eBay and see if we work with that. Got a couple nice chandelier, mid-century rhinestone earrings. I think I'm going to try to get those into the case I was just working on, or a secondary case from mid-century. I do have several of the wonderful little boxes in stock right now, and so I will be putting some of these out at the show, priced anywhere between, this one will probably be 18 to 20. My more a little bit older ones in with the celluloid, those will be closer to $40 or $50. And then I just picked up this brooch, and I've been going back and forth on whether I'm going to keep this one and wear it for a while. It's such a dramatic piece. It has fabulous, I should have taken off the card, it has great riveted construction. It's not signed, but what a great piece to put on your lapel. And I do try to wear some of the jewelry that I sell. So I think that one may stay with me for a while. And so that's sort of a walkthrough on that. And just as a reminder, I've been doing a challenge with Jason Adams, and he's Jason Adams 8633, and that's why I have that written out, because I'm dyslexic. I would love it if you would like, subscribe, and hit those notifications for my channel. And I hope you've enjoyed just a little bit of going through our process. Once again, center it up a little bit. There we go. Once again, you can find my tickets online at tickettailor.com, and you can find my eBay store online at Wind Horse Ventures. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for experiencing a little bit of my wonderful world. I'm glad you've stepped inside today, and come back soon and join me again.